So,
Yeah,
Doug, thank you for joining us today. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Ready
So,
to
what
go
is
to
this pay?
Chelan.
What's that?
Ready to go to Chelan.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was really nice. A good friend of mine lent me his vacation property. That was cool.
Nice.
So, so speaking of relaxing in a vacation property, what is this paycheck optional lifestyle?
As you know, I'm not a wealth manager, so I'm not helping people invest and build wealth. But at some point, we'd like to not have to work for money. And so I really want to have people start to think about if you were to work backwards from having enough income, passive income, where you didn't have to work, or you could work doing whatever you want. Because I don't think retirement is the right answer. It's doing things you love to do with people you love to do it with. Maybe it's a volunteering, maybe it's a contribution, maybe it's just a passion you have. That we want to get to a point where we can not have to work for money.
All right, that's paycheck optional lifestyle is
What
not have to work for money.
you want me to sign you up for that? Was that a
Yeah,
too
I'm
long
in.
of an answer? I should have
No,
just said,
I'm in
oh, so you don't have
100%.
to work, you don't have to work for money. That's what it is.
Okay, so when's the best time to start planning this? Should we wait a few years to start planning this?
Stephen Covey said, if you're going to save the world, clean the garage first.
Yeah.
So the idea is get yourself organized. And when you want to buy a house, invest in some property, you go, I better put it together. When you want to get a mortgage from Tom, you go, I better make sure my credit's good and I got the cash and I got the savings. Well, why do we wait for that? Why don't we just actually start being proactive now and get a lot more out of our money so that when we start building for it now. And it's just funny how many people just wait, right? They wait
Like
until
for
they go, I should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah, right. That is interesting, and it's kind of, it's human nature to delay. I'm not saying gratification. That's the exact opposite, but pain, right? And somehow they getting things in order is a challenge. Um, so how do you help people with all those competing priorities, basic living expenses, buying a home, kids college, investing, travel, family, health, friends, giving, all that kind of stuff. How, I mean, I myself, I like to travel, right? So how do you help with balancing those priorities to get to the things that are most important from a financial standpoint?
I think in many ways you can have it all, but you can't have it all at once.
Hmm.
The word priority was originally singular. It meant you had a priority, the thing that you need to do next. And now we've made it plural. That happened about 300 years ago, where there's all these competing priorities. So at this stage of your life you're in, you need to think about what's important. If you really want a family and you really want to have a home, you're going to have to focus on that more than trying to do everything.
Hmm.
But while I work with people and help them manage their cash flow and really align it with what's really important to them and building an emergency fund, I also teach them to travel hack so they can get free airline miles. I've got 1,200,000 airline miles
Hmm.
just from my cash flow.
Hmm.
So there's ways to maximize and lower your costs and still save for that investment property or still be able to qualify for that mortgage. So, and Tom, that's just a great idea, because essentially just sitting on your cash, if you're at 3% interest rate, you're making 3%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So who's getting 3% in their bank right now? It said
It's
nobody.
it said nobody. Yeah, that's why I brought Tom on, because I was like, I know you guys are going to get together and probably help change a lot of people's finances for the better and the concepts there. So I think where most people stop is the overwhelm shot, right? So we talked about all those things that were priorities, and I totally have heard that before, that, it used to be you had to pick one. So if you were to boil it down to a first step, what should it be?
It's going to sound a little boring, but you need to know where your money's going. You can't decide to be more effective or efficient if you don't have any information. And when people find out where their money's going, often they go, well, I don't want to spend that much there. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had people realize their dog has been costing them $600 a month. A 30-year-old couple spending $2,400 on food and takeout. It's pretty easy to find $500 or $1,000 when you're spending those kinds of dollars on food and takeout.
So tell me, we've had you on this show a couple of times talking about this, finding out where your money goes. How long does that take?
Well, in our program, in the first week, we basically, excuse me, first 2 weeks, we go back a month and start looking at where everything went, build a intentional spending plan. Nobody wants a budget, so we renamed it digital spending plan. So now you're intentionally deciding where your money goes before you spend it based on actual spending. But it takes a few months to start really learning where your money goes.
And I think where you and Tom could actually work really well together is you go like this. You go, okay, we know where the money goes. We know that most people spend money like this. They go, okay, I've got $4,000 in the bank. I'm going to just make sure when we get close to $500 left, we need to slow down our spending, right? That's probably where most people go, well, let's see, do we have enough for that? Nope, we don't. Let's wait until our next paycheck, right? Whereas on the challenges with Tom's loan, it's like, man, I don't see an end in this balance. I'm just going to keep writing checks. But where you come in is you say, hey, okay, we've now determined that this is your lifestyle. This is what you live off of. Here's the money. Here's where it goes. Here are the buckets that they go to. Now you can easily time that and set things up and say, oh, well, maybe like you said, we don't need to do takeout, 7 days a week, right? Maybe we could actually pare that down and see where it goes. But okay, so it sounds like you got about a week to 2 weeks worth of time to get things kind of the first step done, right?
Well, that gets it set up. And then when
Yeah.
I work with people, it's over 10 weeks. But what really where everybody gets tripped up is they don't think about the money they've already committed. Dan, both you and Tom have committed to car repairs.
Yeah.
When is that going to hit? You don't know. But I'll tell you, after tracking stuff for the last 25 years, a car that is not a really high-end car, like a BMW or just higher end cars that are a little more expensive to maintain, they cost $150 a month, plus insurance, plus license tabs. And if you look at a 5-year period, you're probably going to spend about $150 a month with tires, brakes, whatever happens.
Yep.
So you need to be saving for those infrequent expenses every month so that when they hit, you're not surprised. And insurance, Christmas, vacations, there's a lot of things that you've already committed to. And so you're looking at your bank balance. We got down to 500, but you've got a $1,200 bill coming up. So let's not do bank balance budgeting. Let's actually know how much we have that's not committed.
Okay. So what stops people from getting started?
They don't know where to start, and it feels overwhelming. It's just seems like a lot to do without a high return. I'm going to wake up Saturday morning and I'm going to start cleaning up my finances. I'm going to know where all my money is. I'm going to figure out all my infrequent expenses and average them. It's just not a fun, sexy idea until people start seeing the results and start seeing that they can restructure finances and save a lot of interest and have more of what they want. And I've had people at 150,000 in income save 15%, $22,500, and it didn't affect their lifestyle
At all. Yeah. Because they paid that first, they knew all their other things going. Yeah. So once people get started and they're moving right along, how do you keep at it? Right. Because it isn't sexy. Right. So, I mean, maybe it is.
Well, the starting out isn't, but it's like anything, any new habit. Oh, it's very sexy. I mean, just saying, if it's like any new habit, it's more difficult when you start. It takes more energy to get a flywheel going, more energy to get up to speed than maintain the speed. But people have that awkward success and failure when they start something new, and they don't realize that that's the process. Now, when I work with people, we've lowered that learning curve so it's already built for them. We just teach them how to do it. But if you go through and it's enough hassle and things don't balance and you can't figure it out, you're going to quit. So it's like that old thing of the path has got to be lower because the elephant won't go up the steep hill. The rider can see over the hill. So you got to make the path easier. So the elephant will go. The elephant's pretty strong, but it's lazy. Just like most of us when we're looking at change, any good change.
Now, I dare you to tell an elephant to his face he's lazy. I dare you.
Okay. You watch this Saturday. I got one coming over.
Okay, so I'm kind of one of these people like I want to get straight there. So how can somebody get to that paycheck optional lifestyle quicker?
Pay attention to where your money is going. Decide what you're going to do before you spend the money. We're very much emotional creatures. I mean, how many people have bought a nice shiny car or a nice shiny anything that they weren't planning on buying? We've all done it. But when you know what's really important to you and you say, do I really want that, or do I want that trip? My wife and I are celebrating 40-year anniversary next year.
Oh,
and
cool.
we're going to go to France and Italy and spend like 4 weeks. It's going to be really fun. But I found this really cool Lexus for $19,000. It was mint, 70,000 miles, always garaged. It was tempting. But because I had other things in mind and I knew what was more important to me, it was easier to say no. I still kind of wanted it. It was a really nice car.
Better don't buy the car and don't get a divorce. It would be more expensive.
Exactly. You're so smart.
Hey, hey, where'd the peanut gallery come from? Hey, hold on.
Exactly right, Erica.
Okay. All right. So we've got time for a last bit of question. What if you feel like things will never happen? Like you're not going to see this paycheck optional lifestyle. You're going to be working till you're 89, 95, something like that.
Wouldn't you rather need less money than not having to work? If I love the quote by Barbara Sher that she says, it's only too late if you don't start now. So you can definitely make it better. But if you're really into being a victim, I'd say, keep doing what you're doing and just, whine and cry and that sort of thing. Was that too harsh?
No, that's not too harsh. I think,
okay.
Around here we speak the truth, and the truth is designed to, sometimes it can hurt, but generally speaking, it always needs to be heard.
Well, you have to take responsibility for your business and creating your podcast and serving your clients. I mean, you create that. So it's just being responsible for what's important to you.
Yep, absolutely. Doug, thank you for joining us. Thanks for your insights. If you would like to hear more of Mr. Peterson and how he can help, you can visit him at getprioritiesstraight.com or at his phone number, which is
206-264-4424. And if it's easier, you can set an appointment with schedulewithdoug.com.
Schedulewithdoug.com. Awesome. Thank you, Doug.
Thanks.